this is the unboxing of a glow shift fuel pressure gauge. So let's see here, 10% off the next order, custom gauge builder, all that fun stuff. Nothing really. Alright, box inside of a box. Oh yeah, got some stickers. That's always the best part. Then I got this barbed fuel pressure gauge. My idea is going to be to run this after my filter inside of the engine, and then, as you will see here on this kit that I got, I got the white series. There is the actual pressure gauge. Hopefully I don't make a fool of myself getting this off. I don't want anything to fall. Alright, get this guy out of here. Come on, fella. Okay, he's good. And so, obviously you don't want fuel lines inside the cab if you can help it. So I got an electronic sensor. So, there's that. And here's all this fun stuff. So this should screw into that, and this is going to go into my fuel line. So I will pull all the rest of this stuff out and we will get started. Alright, so I am doing this in a 2007 Duramax 2500 Classic with the LBZ engine. I'm in here. I've got a bunch of fancy stuff, so I'm just figuring out where I'm gonna mount it and stuff. I've got a lot of power wires and stuff that I've already done down here. So what I'm gonna do is start checking. I read the instructions like you should always do. I'm gonna start with mounting and save the fuel for last. I'm gonna do the electrical first. So we need a, let's see, it's right here, right there. So we need a constant source, an ignition switch source, a headlight source, and then a ground, of course. So the ground's easy. I believe an ignition is pretty easy. The switch, which is right here, that one's going to be difficult, and that's probably the only one I'm going to struggle with. So, all right, so I have this fancy little thing that I built. This turns on my battery readers. Then it's also got, I had this cigarette lighter, and then it's got two USBs. It was mounted right here on front, so I just flipped it underneath right there. Let's see, right under there. And then I'm going to mount the pressure gauge right there. Got a nice little holder on the wires back. So what I'm going to do is take this 5/32 bit that is mocked up to the size of those right there, and then I'm going to put the mounting bracket on, and that's where I'm going to mount it. I'm going to get the holes drilled, but I'm not going to necessarily mount it yet because I'm going to start running the wires. Alright, so I popped off this little kick panel right here underneath my steering wheel. Try to gain access to the headlight switch, which I imagine is probably going to be the hardest one to run. So I reached up here, and you probably can't see it. There's the wire harness to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start testing wires to see which one is my on. You might be able to pull up a wire diagram for this, but I'm just going to grab my light tester and start checking them real quick. I've popped this dash off, then I've popped this out. You can see there's little tabs. Just be gentle with it. The reason I did that is so I could get the access to behind this harness and test it with my wire tester. These wires are really small and they're coated very good, so I wasn't able just to stick the wire. Alright guys, well, this right here, you can see the green socket. That goes right to all that fun stuff. I've got a constant right here. It's brown and white, and I went through and checked every single one of these, and I do not have one wire on here that turns off my headlights. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. I went through and I checked and I checked and I checked, and I had no luck whatsoever. So I'm gonna run it to the fuse box, just up to the fuse for right now, and then I'll get an expandable circuit for it. But yeah, I didn't have any luck with that. If you guys want to try it, you might have more luck with that, but I'm just going to the fuse box. So on to the next step. All right, so I got little blue wire, comes out, goes in through the firewall, through my grommet hole. It's going to be blue, and so that's going to be for the headlight switch source. So that's going to hook up to the orange on the little thing that they gave me, the harness. That's the word for it, harness. All right, I'm going to start testing other stuff. All right, give you guys a look at what I'm looking at here. So this is the wire I ran from the fuse box for the headlights. I've got this little yellow feller that he powers my turbo gauge, and he's an ignition. So there's going to be my ignition. I've got my brown right here because I've got my voltage testers for my batteries up there. So that's going to be my ground. And then this blue right here is a constant. So I'm going to go constant headlight right here. Once again, the headlights ran to the fuse box. I've got the brown for my ground right there, and then this right here is going to be my ignition. I'm sure that your truck has probably none of these wires, maybe the ignition one, but I'm just showing you what I'm doing on mine. All right, so after some findangling, I got black ground, orange headlight, the red is my ignition hot, and then the yellow is to the constant. I want everybody to do me a favor and stop what you're doing and call your congressman and tell them that these little tiny wires that all these places send for these kits should be illegal. I don't know why they send such small, tiny, frail wires. They don't clip to anything, they don't splice to anything. I hate working with them. I'm sure if you've experienced it, you hate working with them too. So please call your congressman. All right, so I'm gonna zip tie all this stuff up, get it looking all pretty again, and then I'm gonna put my truck back together. I still have to run the sensor, so that's gonna be the next thing I do. All right, so I've got my sensor placement where I'm gonna mount everything. Gonna run it through up there through the grommet, and then I'm gonna go up and put it up in my engine bay where I want it. All right, so I've got my fuel line coming out of my filter right here. So I am gonna put it right there. I'm gonna try to just cut it once and put my little fitting in. Bam, I screwed it in so I don't have to worry about trying to tighten it when it's already in there. So I'm gonna put my little flare fitting in there. Then I've got the hook in all ran up here, so I'm gonna get that cut and then get my hose clamps on and all that fun stuff, and I'll be back. All right, so that's where I got my sensor. I think that's a nice little place for it and easy to check for leaks, even though I don't think there will be any. So I am going to hook the plug up, then I'm going to get all the slack out and put the slack inside the cab and zip tie everything up as I go. So working on getting my truck back together. I'm losing light, but truck's pretty much back together. Now I'm gonna mount the actual gauge and see how she works. All right, well, I ran out of light, but not too bad. That's what she looks like. Let's see if she turns on. Turned on. Take my light away, you guys can see it. So let's see, that's night mode right there. If I turn that off, it lights up and it's not on night mode anymore. And now I should be able to push the button. There's green, red, blue, green-ish, purple, light blue, dark blue, some sort of blue, more green, red, light blue. All right, son, let's start the truck and see what it has to say. Alright guys, well this is why I got it. The gauge is working. I'm not getting the fuel pressure that I think I'm getting. So now I've got to go through and figure out if it's the filter on the Wix pump or my filter inside the engine bay. So yeah, I mean, that's the whole reason I got it right there. As you can see, it's low. It's super low for what it should be. I'm about to stop at a stop sign, whatever those things are. And then if you see, I push on it and it's dropping down to 0 pressure. So I know my truck is demanding a lot of gas, and it should stay pretty high with the fast fuel pump that I installed. So yeah, thanks for watching the video. If you're interested on the fast fuel pump that I installed, there's another video on my YouTube. You can check that one out. And until the next install I do on the Duramax, or the next hunting video I do, we'll see you later.